Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Christy. I'm a therapist and a relationship coach, but kind of a brain geek for what you might call it, or a social philosophist or a wannabe social philosophist. I really want to dig into one of the common epidemics or the big epidemic that I've been seeing in practice and in a lot of my friends as they age in life. It's the idea and the fear that you will be single for the rest of your life, okay? And you're at a place of wanting to find a partner, but dating and relationships is too hard to figure out for you to think it's even possible, right? So I get it. I hear you. Men and women alike are dealing with the same stuff, but men specifically, I would say, have the shorter end of the stick if you don't know what you're working on, okay? So let's get from the beginning. I really want to kind of give an introductory on today's topic and also go over what you are possibly dealing with and if this resonates with you, okay? So if you're a man who's been spending majority of your 20s and 30s building yourself up, right? To be competitive, obviously, in the social hierarchy, to make something of yourself as a man, because it's extremely important to do so, right? You've worked extremely hard in attempts of getting all your ducks in a row, ready in preparation for the next chapter of your life. The wife, the children, the white picket fence, and of course, more expenses, right? So in your 20s and 30s, you've done a lot of hard work, you've climbed up the social hierarchy, and you've made something of yourself, and you hustled and you hustled, and you're at a point where you're kind of burnt out, right? Or possibly you want something more in life now. You're ready to start tapping into the next chapter of your life, and possibly through this process or prior to this process, you've also done the whole getting it out of your system kind of process, right? You've possibly in that process met some really good women that you weren't ready for at that current stage of your life, and now those women have married, flew by, and started their own family, and you're sitting there thinking, staring at me, I missed a really great opportunity. Now, I don't want you to think back in time because you weren't at a stage of your life where you were ready to provide in that capacity the things that that relationship required in order for it to flourish, right? So I would say you made a really good decision. However, through that process as well, you've possibly met, slept with, and also had fun with a ton of women that weren't necessarily wifey material, but obviously you needed companionship, and it was nice to have that need sufficed during that time of your life. And so what I'm trying to say is, you're at a point where you're ready to settle down. And this task hasn't been more daunting than compared to now. And in today's video, I really want to dig upon this issue because there are some mistakes and some extra reflections that you need to start reflecting on and changing in order to better your chances now that your lifespan has changed, okay? You're not at a place that you want to play anymore. You're at a place of wanting to find a good woman to settle down with, but you may not know how. And you're also fearful of making the wrong choice, right? Because the statistics are against you, they're not for you, of divorce rates being more than 50% all across America. So I get it. And a lot of the times men fear that they will lose more than they gain, right? Because I know you guys are logical, very rational, and the data just shows more people are making mistakes than not. So hopefully this video will give you some fruitful tips as to how not to be part of those statistics, okay? But before I begin, if you're old here, welcome back. I hope you guys found and changed some of the behaviors that I asked you to change from the last videos that I sent, and welcome back. And if you're new here, welcome. I'm Christy, I'm a therapist, and I like to give science-based techniques and explanations and practical tips in order for you to better your mental health and close the gap between you and the relationships that you want to create quality, enjoyment, and fulfillment in your life, because we do believe, and I do believe, that people do just want to be loved at the end of the day, and relationships are very crucial for a strong and resilient mental health. So do me a favor and hit the subscribe button and hit the like button if you like topics like this, because it helps me create better free value for men who really need to hear from a woman and a therapist, possibly. Okay, so let's get straight to it. If you are an older man and you want to settle down now and you're starting to find that you're having resistance or experiencing issues that you never once did before, let's really dig into why this is happening. Okay, the first tip I would give you is avoid being cynical. And what does this mean? To the general core basis of what this means is you have to, as a man, believe in the good in people. And in dating and relationships, as a man, you really have to believe the good in women. Okay, and towards that point is you have to believe that both men and women just want to be loved. And I know this may sound like a movie, this may sound like a fantasy, but I genuinely do believe if you wipe out all of the noise and all of the shields and barriers and facades that every human being is built to use in their dating process and courting process, it is with the general intent of wanting to find a person who would love them for who they are. Now, why I say avoid being cynical isn't truly to put you in a fantasy point of view or naive mindset, but it is really generally trying to focus on the fact that you don't have to exude this false facade and see women as the possible enemy in order to align with the games of dating or the roller coasters of dating. And in that process and in that belief system, you are burning yourself out, becoming more fearful, becoming more defensive, and not really letting your true and authentic side shine. Okay, which is highly important if you want to find a good partner. Okay, so first tip, avoid being cynical. Try your best to believe in the good in people and try to understand if you do not believe in the good in people, where does that come from? Okay. Tip number 2, and this one's going to be a more tangible one for you guys to understand. It's understanding the importance of being in the right environment. Now, at this current stage of your life, you're no longer a teenager, young spring chicken playing in the playgrounds of high school, okay? And for some reason, a lot of men in your current stage see that as a negative thing. You see that as a barrier to entry into the dating market, and you see your older age as a negative, right? It's not productive to you. And it's really important that you understand the difference between playing in the wrong environment that has the majority population of age number that is not your age. Maybe you're the top 1% age percentile of that environment, possibly a club, right? A bar, or environments that just don't align where you're at in life, right? Versus playing in an environment that really lets the value and the competency and the skills and your passions and your missions shine, right? So let me give you a quick example. If you are a man of older age and you are somewhat secure in most of your personal assets and achievements, and you're at a club or even at a restaurant, right? And you are freely able to buy a ton of bottles or pop a ton of bottles and make a huge ruckus and shine through all of the people at the bar, and you're able to, buy 5 bottles when Charlie, 25 5-year-old over there is only buying one bottle, right? It's almost this like alpha competition. Yes, you will be getting a ton of attention from women, but that type of attention may not be the ones in which you want, which is pretty self-explanatory, right? In addition to that, that type of attention that you're getting from those women will reinforce your insecurities as an older man that you have to lead with money to get female attention, okay? So it's a cyclical cycle and you're doing worse for you. Not so much that maybe you can handle deciphering logically between, women who are gold diggers versus women who are just wanting a free drink for you, and you are creating a huge scene at the club. And so you're able to decipher that, you're not going to commit those people, but it's the idea that you're letting the environment reinforce the fact that you have to lead with money in order to be valuable. Now let's talk about the second environment I want men to focus on, hopefully by the end of this video. It's environments in which let your skills, competencies, missions, and purpose in life shine. So it can be as simple as a volunteer group that promotes, I don't know, something you may be very passionate about, right? Maybe you have this ingrained passion and belief in life that whales and saving whales, and I'm not trying to mock anyone who loves whales, okay? But you have this ingrained belief in you that whales will save the planet, right? And by saving them, our world and humanity will be a better place, right? Now, in that environment, if you're put in that environment that lets your passion shine, you will bring a ton of value because you have a lot of information and facts and tips and solutions and ideas that you can use that is aligned with that group of people. And if you're able to be the smartest and most competitive and informative person of that social group, okay, then if that social group has men and women alike, both parties will be highly inspired and highly admiring of you, okay? And you want to be able to do that. You want to be able to choose environments, if you haven't already, that let your true skills and competency and intellect as a man shine, because men and women alike will gravitate towards you. And obviously, if there's women, they will gravitate towards you towards the right reasons, towards the facts and the information and the values and the interests that aligns with you, okay? So focus on the environment. Environment is extremely important when you're trying to find the right partner, not because you can't find good women at the club and bar, but if you are leading with things in which are not important to you as a man. For instance, I'm not saying money is not important, but why that is important to a high value man is because of your skills and competency and value in this society, right? And so you want to lead with environments that validate that. And so find your right community, and women in those communities will be less but of higher quality. Tip number 3, the importance of understanding how to avoid being exploited, okay? So I understand, men, one of the biggest roles that you have in the dating process is courting and leading and being the first person to initiate. And I kind of touched upon this in point number 2. What you choose to lead with and initiate on really reflects on the attention that you're going to attract, okay? So how do you avoid being exploited? If you're following the rules of leading, the definition of leading and marketing yourself can come to various concepts, which is you need to avoid leading with money, and you have to understand, if you want to attract the right attention or right women who values relationships and healthy relationships and really developing a true connection with a human being, you have to avoid leading with too much money or leading with the common monologue of being the sole initiator, the sole provider, and the sole protector. Okay, now what I'm trying to say is you have to work on your relational skills. You have to work on the differences between what you should give as a man and what you should be getting from a woman, okay? How to avoid catching women who are going to be purely transactional and purely targeting for the resources in which you can give her, okay? And so if you want to avoid that and you want to avoid a woman who is purely going to be with you for your resources, you have to understand how to connect to a woman's femininity. For instance, how her knowledge of what she should be adding in value to a relationship, not you, okay, not yet you, but a relationship is complementary to what you need as a man. Okay, so number one tip that I need to give if you're trying to avoid being exploited is you have to understand, aside from attracting, the stages of attracting, what are you doing as a man to switch over to the stage of judgment and connection? Okay, for some reason, a lot of men and women alike do not know how to switch from stage 1, attraction, to stage 2, judgment and choosing and testing and connecting. In stage 1, you are looking for checkpoints like attraction and physical chemistry and sexual chemistry and romantic chemistry. But it's really important that once you've said everything that you've said and you wanted to say, or it's a common monologue that the relationship gurus tell you to do, right? The common things in which develops that spark. Okay. Next is really understanding, aside from your job, aside from the things in which you can provide men, aside from the daily routine that you like to go to the gym very, very often, possibly, right? Aside from all that, who are you really and who is she really? Okay, when you are able to strip yourself from everything that is tangible about you and her, you then understand how to start negotiating and developing a true sense of connection. Okay, so aside from the money, aside from your achievements as a lawyer or a doctor or a business owner, what is it that you really want and who are you? I think if you're able to find a woman who is highly in tuned and has the proclivity and the urgency to really connect to you, aside from all of that, you have to do it first, men. You have to drop the alpha monologue. You have to drop your resume. But aside from all those tangible things that you're doing, who are you and how are you able to show that to a woman and invite her to see whether or not she values that or not, right? So if you're having trouble as an older man connecting and finding good women, I generally think these 4 tips are some of the major mistakes and the blind spots that men are constantly doing in their daily life or in dating and relationships. Because at the end of the day, people just want to be loved, and you have to believe that. And if you are not staying true to working on the objectifiable things in your life that can bring you the best results and best opportunities, you will become extremely jaded in the process, okay? So just understand that if you're an older man, you have to be less cynical, right? You're not going to die alone, and people do not want to die alone either. And most people do want a beautiful and healthy relationship as well, okay? And number 2, that being in the right environment is more important than the numbers and the high numbers in female attention that you get in the wrong environment. Okay, so let the right environment help you in showing and marketing your skills and competencies and passions and missions and weird hobbies in life, okay? Because that is a very inspiring place to be for anyone. Obviously, work in being the top 10 percentile of any environment, okay, that you said you're passionate about. And then number 3 is work on your skills and strategies that you're using in order to avoid being exploited. And how to avoid being exploited is you cannot lead with money, and you have to understand how to drop your facade, drop the things in which are tangible about you, and reveal and feel safe in revealing sides of you that are kind of childish or kind of weird or kind of unique to you, or reveal things that you really, really, really want in life other than, what everybody's striving for. Because you want to really work on your relational skills in order to be able to attract a woman who also wants just true, genuine connection. Okay? So for instance, if you don't know how to show a woman that you care about her because you feel like the alpha monologue has told you, don't be too needy, don't be too beta, don't ask her about her day too much, right? You want to be able to drop that a bit. Because yes, being able to be in tune with what the games of attraction is, if you can't switch over to choosing vulnerability and judgment and testing, you will always be feeling like you're alone, okay? So work on dropping your barriers. Okay, I hope you found this video very informative. Sorry if it went way overboard. I tend to go on tangents about ideas, but if you learned something in this video, please do me a favor and comment down below what you learned, what was informative, what criticisms do you want to give about the way I edit, the way I record. That would really help. And also, what kind of topics or struggles are you facing every single day that you want me to go over in my next video? Okay, hope you guys found this helpful. Please work on the things I told you about, because your maturing age is not a defining factor of whether or not you're going to meet the woman of your dreams. It's probably the things you're either doing or not doing that is revalidating the fact that you will be forever alone. Okay, so love is possible. Most people want to be loved and feel loved, be in love, give love, feel loved. So it's possible. Okay, love you guys all, and until next time, bye. Hi everyone, if you enjoyed our content, don't forget to follow us on TikTok and IG where we post daily, and YouTube where we post weekly.